Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad, and today we're going to talk about RDTE, QDTE, and XDTE, and we're also going to compare it against the VIX for XDTE, just to give you a little thought process of distributions. Anyway, RDTE, I don't care what they say, they're overpaying. And stick around because there's data there that you're just going to be shocked later on. So, hey, Brad bought a share again, continues to go up. Hey, this time I only lost $4.29 to buy that share. But eventually, this is going to pay for itself. So XDTE wiped everything out, gave you a fresh screen so it doesn't get too, hey, I'm still up. Any way I look at it, total, I'm up. From my original investment, I'm up. My cost is only $50.39. And I took that $86 and I moved it to a different fund. QDTE, again, I'm up across the board. No matter how I look at it, from my original investment, my total investment, I'm still up. My average cost per share is $41.50. And I took that $229 and I invested it into different funds. RDTE and their strikes. They did well for the rest of the week. They only had that one slippage. Somebody indicated, oh, you should do, was it a profitable trade and profit loss, blah, 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 blah. So I did that for you in another slide real quick to show you profit loss and actually to show you why it really sometimes doesn't matter. Oh, one other thing. Share count skyrocketed. And skyrocketed from Wednesday night to Thursday night. So everybody's buying in to get the distributions. Sure, I'm glad that they're overpaying. It's just going to hurt us later on. XDTE, same thing. This time they made 21 cents this week. RDTE made 28 cents. But 21 cents for XDTE is what they made. Share count went up a little bit. They're selling more strikes. But again, people bought in on Wednesday so they can get the distribution. Gotta love them because that's only going to hurt us later on. It'll wash out after a couple weeks, but having a consistent count really does matter. I want to show you exactly how that affected us later on. How people pile in, and guess what? It totally ruins the calculation. QDTE shares went up. Awesome. They had that slippage on Monday, but they had 31 cents per share compared to 28 and 21. So this week, QDTE is the winner if you look at revenue per share for the week. You also notice that people bought in on Thursday after ex-dividend date instead of on Wednesday. By the way, I buy my one share on the ex-dividend date, not on Friday, and I don't do it any other day. Ex-dividend date is when I buy my shares for Roundhill. So profit loss. So XDTE took a huge loss the other day on Monday, $394,000. And I had to run that number 3 times to say, that's a big number to lose there, Roundhill. Not very happy. But QDTE, they made the money. So even though it was a bad call, they still profited. RDTE, $11,000. Wasn't a whole lot. But let's talk about RDTE real quick. So their loss due to their cover call was about 1 cent per share. But by everybody piling in on Wednesday, we lost 5 cents per share. Wait a second. Oh, you make a bad call, you lose a cent. People pile into the fund so they can get the distributions, and you're telling me that we earn less money for the week? That's exactly what I'm telling you. They lost 5 cents per share by them having everybody buy in on Wednesday. Just throw it out. Over time, it won't matter. It'll pan itself out. But it gets me a little frustrated because we know right now RDTE is overpaying. They're not making the money to be paying these distributions. So the next one I'm going to show is distribution rates. I calculated 3 different ways so you can choose which manner that you want to take it in. The bottom one is current distribution against Friday's close. The middle one is average distribution against average price all the way up until Friday night. And the third one is average distribution against current price. Take them as they are, showing you the data. Which one you use, that's totally up to you, but I use average price and average distribution. Lastly, let's talk about XDTE and how it compares to the VIX. This is all stimulated by a comment by one of the viewers, so I appreciate the comments. Just don't tell me that AIPI is speculation, because obviously you didn't watch the AIPI video. Kind of hurts. And secondly, the shirts are now linked in the Amazon store. So if you really want to support the channel, go check out the shirts, go check out what's there, and click on my link and then go buy something. It doesn't even have to be in my store. Just go buy something after you click on my link. Helps me out. Greatly appreciate it. But let's talk about the VIX. And this kind of may be an eye-opener of distributions. So I went out and took a look at the VIX compared to distributions. And when we see a spike in the VIX, we see an increase in distributions, which is exactly what we should see. But we also saw an increase of distributions with no spike in the VIX. So which way does it go here? I got a feeling when they come in on early morning and try to buy in, they're trying to target and they're trying to figure out where they are price-wise. And sometimes they don't get the prices that they want to get. This isn't a problem. I still like the distribution rates. I totally understand about gap up. People still don't understand about gap up. I'm surprised after all the videos about gap up. But hey, you're going to get gap up. Yes, we're going to have slippage, and we got good distributions. Lastly, one thing that I'm going to go ahead and say, and this probably is not going to be very welcomed by some people, but I've questioned them. I've actually sent them emails about ROC, return of capital, and they came back and pointed me to a blog and said because of how they're structured, it's all return of capital, blah, blah, blah. I got a strong feeling, just calling it today, when you get your tax paperwork, you're going to get a big surprise, because I don't think these are all going to be return of capital. Just saying, it doesn't make sense what they're trying to say. And there was an interview by Reaching Riches. Why would they say institutional investors are worried about taxes? Go watch that interview. That is what they said. Institutionals are worried about taxes. If it is all ROC, why would they be so worried about taxes? And why doesn't Roundhill just come out and tell us it's not going to be all return of capital? So read in between the lines. They said it themselves. Institutional investors are worried about taxes, just like you and I are worried about taxes. But Roundhill, you're telling everybody it's return of capital. Sorry, it might not be. So just keep that in mind, that you might get a tax surprise if you're using a taxable account. Until next time, God bless. By the way, Sweet Tea, it's coming up. I got another episode this afternoon that I want to put together about some other stuff. It's going to be good. It's all about where we are with Fed cuts and everything, but sweet tea coming up on Sunday. Everybody stay tuned and watch. I got a lot to say this time.